Laila Rivera had always been brilliant with machines. At 23, she was already graduating summa cum laude from Arizona State University with a degree in cybersecurity. While her classmates spent their nights partying, Laila spent hers coding neural networks that could detect threats faster than any human expert. The Arizona State University Computer Lab was Laila's second home. Late at night, when everyone else had gone home, she would sit hunched over her dual-monitor setup, fingers dancing across mechanical keyboard switches that clicked like tiny gunshots in the quiet space. Her dark eyes reflected the complex code scrolling across her screens, algorithms she designed to think like hackers, to anticipate their moves before they made them. Just a few more lines and the neural network will be perfect, she would whisper to herself, running her hand through her shoulder-length black hair. The screen's glow illuminated her determined face, the face of someone who had already decided her life's mission, to protect people from those who would exploit the systems that controlled their world. When the notification popped up on her screen, interview scheduled, Titan Industries, 2 p.m. today, Laila felt a surge of excitement. Titan Industries was one of the most respected cybersecurity firms in the country. They didn't just protect companies from cyber attacks, they protected critical infrastructure, power grids, water systems, transportation networks, the kinds of systems that, if compromised, could cripple entire cities. Finally, she thought, closing her laptop with satisfaction. A chance to make a real difference. The Titan Industries building rose like a glass and steel monument in downtown Phoenix. From the reception area, Laila could see through floor-to-ceiling windows where employees in expensive suits worked at cutting-edge computers. The contrast to her university lab was stark. This was the big leagues. "Miss Rivera," said the receptionist, studying Laila's resume on her tablet. "Graduated ASU with honors in cybersecurity. Published 3 papers on AI-driven threat detection. Impressive portfolio." "Thank you," Laila replied, adjusting her blazer nervously. "I've been following Titan Industries' work in defense contracts. The AI security systems you've developed are revolutionary." The receptionist smiled. "Mr. Davidson will see you now. Conference room B." As Laila walked past the glass-walled offices, she felt the weight of opportunity. This was her chance to prove herself, to work on projects that mattered, to protect the people who couldn't protect themselves. Mark Davidson sat behind an imposing desk in Conference Room B. He was 45, polished, confident, wearing a tailored suit that screamed success. Across from him sat Dr. Patricia Winters, the Chief Technology Officer, sharp-eyed, no-nonsense, the kind of woman who had clawed her way to the top in a male-dominated field. "Miss Rivera," Davidson began, his voice smooth as silk, "your portfolio is intriguing. But I have to ask, why are you here? With your credentials, you could work anywhere." Laila met his gaze steadily. "Because Titan Industries is doing work that matters. You protect critical infrastructure. You prevent cyber attacks that could cripple entire cities. That's meaningful work." Davidson and Winters exchanged a look, the kind of look 2 predators share when they've spotted prey. "The position requires top-secret clearance," Winters said coldly. "It also requires discretion. You'll be working on proprietary algorithms that cannot be discussed outside this building. Ever." "I understand," Laila replied. "The salary is $95,000 to start, with full benefits," Davidson continued. "You'll report directly to Dr. Winters. But be warned, we have very high standards. One mistake, and you're gone. No second chances." "I can handle high standards," Laila said without hesitation. Davidson smiled, predatory. "Excellent. Report Monday at 8 a.m. sharp." 3 months later, Laila sat at her impressive workspace, triple monitors, the latest hardware, custom software tools that most people could never afford. She looked more professional, more confident. The modest student had been transformed into a corporate cybersecurity analyst. But something was wrong. Laila had been analyzing Titan Industry security protocols, her own creation, modified to look deeper than she was officially authorized to investigate. The anomaly rates didn't match the official reports. Either she was missing something critical, or the realization hit her like ice water in her veins. "Oh my God," she whispered, staring at her screen in horror. "They're selling access to the security vulnerabilities. Every minor breach they've reported has been a sale." She printed the evidence, hands shaking. Her own company, the organization she thought was protecting America, was selling their nation's infrastructure vulnerabilities to the highest bidder. That evening, Laila sat in the secure server room, working alone while security cameras tracked her every move. But she knew their blind spots, had memorized them during her first month on the job. On her laptop screen, she was running the deepest analysis she had ever attempted. "Come on, show me what you're really doing," she typed, watching the results populate her screen. Her face went pale as the full scope of the betrayal became clear. They weren't just selling access to vulnerabilities. They were creating vulnerabilities, then selling both the problem and the solution to foreign buyers. Each crisis they solved was one they had orchestrated. Laila had stumbled onto a conspiracy that reached deep into the heart of American cybersecurity. The next day, she walked into Dr. Winter's office with the evidence. "You accessed files outside your clearance level, Laila," Winter said coldly. "That's a termination offense." "You sold our nation's infrastructure security to the highest bidder," Laila replied, her voice steady despite her fear. "How many times have you discovered a vulnerability and sold the fix to foreign buyers?" Davidson leaned forward. "That's a serious accusation." "It's not an accusation. It's a documented fact. I've been tracking the patterns. Each crisis you solved was one you created." Winters smiled coldly. "You think you're smarter than us, don't you? A little girl with a computer science degree thinks she can bring down a Fortune 500 company." "I think I can protect the people you betrayed," Laila said simply. Davidson tried a different approach. "Laila, you're a valuable employee. Let's be reasonable. This can be forgotten. You continue your work, we continue ours. Everyone wins." "The people whose security you sold don't win," Laila replied. "Then you're making a mistake," Winters warned. "No," Laila said, standing up. "You are." She walked to the door. "I'm going to the FBI," she declared. "And say what?" Davidson scoffed. "That you think we might be doing something wrong? They won't take you seriously without proof." Laila smiled coldly. "I don't just think about it. I know it. And I have proof." She left them sitting in stunned silence. But Laila had made a critical error. She had underestimated how far Titan Industries would go to protect their operation. That afternoon, as she walked to her car in the parking lot, a black SUV pulled up beside her. Two men in suits got out. "Laila Rivera," the first man said. "We need you to come with us." "I haven't done anything wrong," Laila replied, though her heart was racing. "That remains to be seen," the second man replied. "Mr. Davidson would like to have a word." "I'm not going anywhere with you," Laila said, looking around nervously. Other employees were watching from the windows, but looking away quickly. "This isn't a request," the first man said firmly. Laila realized she had no choice. "Fine. But I want my lawyer present." "Of course." They escorted her to the SUV, and Laila found herself in an interrogation room that smelled of fear and desperation. Corporate lawyer Richard Vance sat across from her, intimidating in his expensive suit and cold demeanor. Davidson stood by the window, arms crossed. "Laila," Vance began, his voice like gravel, "you signed a non-disclosure agreement. Violating that agreement could result in criminal charges." "You mean like the criminal charges you'll face for treason?" Laila replied. "Treason is a strong word," Davidson said. "Selling access to national security vulnerabilities to foreign entities?" Laila shot back. "What would you call it?" "You have no evidence of any wrongdoing," Vance declared smugly. Laila slid a USB drive across the table. "Evidence. Time-stamped, documented, encrypted. I sent copies to multiple secure locations before coming here. If anything happens to me, those files get released." Davidson and Vance exchanged worried glances. "What do you want, Laila?" Davidson asked, his voice suddenly uncertain. "I want you to stop. I want you to fix the vulnerabilities you created. I want you to report your crimes. And if we don't," Vance threatened, "then I will destroy you." She stood up. "You have 48 hours, she announced, and walked out of the interrogation room. But the real battle was just beginning. That night, Laila sat in her apartment with the blinds drawn and doors locked. Her laptop displayed a countdown timer, 42 hours remaining until her ultimatum expired. Her phone rang. Unknown number. Hello. Laila, we need to talk. Alone, came Dr. Winter's voice. I'm not meeting you anywhere, Laila replied. You're right to be careful. But this affects more than just Titan Industries. What do you mean? There are others. Other companies, other vulnerabilities. You stop us, someone else takes our place. But if you work with us. Work with you? You betrayed your country, Laila interrupted. I protected it, Winters replied. The vulnerabilities we sold were already exploitable. We were just managing the risk. Laila hung up, her hands shaking. The conspiracy was bigger than Titan Industries. Much bigger. She opened her laptop and began typing rapidly, tracing financial records, following money trails through shell companies and offshore accounts. Come on, show me where the money really goes, she muttered. She found it, a web of connections, payments from entities that shouldn't exist, intelligence flowing to foreign powers while American infrastructure lay exposed. They're not just selling access, she realized with growing horror. They're selling intelligence. Real-time data on American infrastructure. Then her phone buzzed. A text message from an unknown number. Stop digging or your mother dies. Laila's blood ran cold. They had crossed a line that couldn't be uncrossed. This wasn't just about corporate espionage anymore. This was about survival. She drove to her childhood home in the Phoenix suburbs, parking across the street and watching. Her mother's car was in the driveway. Everything looked normal. She called her mother. Mom, are you home? Si, Mija, came her mother's warm voice. Why do you sound worried? Just checking on you. Have you noticed anything unusual lately? Unusual how? Anyone following you? Strange phone calls. No, mija. Everything's fine. Are you okay? Laila saw a black sedan parked 2 houses down. The driver was watching her mother's house. I have to go, Mom. I'll call you later, she said quickly, hanging up and driving away. The FBI was her only option now. Agent Sarah Collins sat across from Laila in a secure room at the Phoenix field office. Collins was sharp, professional, the kind of person who had spent her career hunting down the worst of humanity. We can protect you, Miss Rivera. But you need to give us everything, Collins said. Everything I have is already with you. The evidence, the financial records, the shell companies, Laila replied. And you're sure this is accurate? I've been tracking their patterns for months. Every security breach, they reported, was actually a test of their saleable vulnerabilities. This goes deeper than Titan Industries, doesn't it? Collins leaned forward. Winters made that clear. It's a network. A system of companies selling access to American infrastructure. We need you to continue working there. Feed us information from the inside, Collins said. Absolutely not. They'll kill me, Laila protested. We'll give you a new identity. Complete protection. And my family? Under witness protection as well. For how long? Until we can dismantle this network completely. Laila thought about her mother's safety, about the families who would remain vulnerable if she didn't act. Okay, but I want to be the one who takes them down. Not just an informant. Deal, Collins agreed. 1 week later, Laila was back at her desk, acting normally while secretly recording everything. Hidden cameras, audio bugs, data harvesting. She was becoming an FBI informant while maintaining her cover as a loyal employee. Davidson approached her desk. Laila, good to see you back. Ready to put this whole misunderstanding behind us, he said smoothly. Of course, Mr. Davidson. I'm here to do my job, Laila replied, her voice steady. Excellent. We're launching a new project next week. Top priority. I think you'll find it challenging. I look forward to it, Laila said, though her stomach was churning. Davidson left, and Laila continued typing, but her fingers were flying. She was recording his conversation for the FBI. The Morrison project meeting was held in the largest conference room. Every executive was present, and Laila sat at the far end, ostensibly taking notes while actually mapping their plans. The Morrison project goes live next month, Davidson announced. Our client has provided specific requirements for infrastructure mapping. How extensive is the mapping? Asked executive number 1. Complete, Davidson replied. Power grids, water systems, transportation networks, emergency services. Everything. Layla's stomach dropped. They were planning a comprehensive surveillance operation that would expose every weakness in American infrastructure. Laila, you'll be handling the AI components, Winters said. The client needs real-time analysis of potential weak points. What kind of client? Laila asked, playing dumb. Classified, Winters replied dismissively. Laila nodded, making notes, but she was really creating a detailed map of their plans for the FBI. That night, she worked in the server room until dawn, installing a backdoor into their entire system. On her laptop, she wrote code that would expose everything: their communications, their financial records, their client list. Finalizing reverse protocol, she typed. This will make everything public. She worked through the night, creating the most sophisticated hack of her career. The final Morrison project meeting arrived. Everyone was present, tensions high. The client is very pleased with our work, Davidson announced. The final deliverable is scheduled for next week. Laila, your neural network has exceeded expectations, Winters added. The client specifically requested your contact information for potential consulting work.
I'm flattered, Laila replied.
This will be the largest infrastructure mapping project in company history, Executive 1 declared. The room went silent. Excuse me? Davidson asked, confused. You heard me. She pulled out her phone and showed them a video call with Agent Collins. Say hello to Special Agent Collins, gentlemen, she announced. She's been very interested in your work. Agent Collins appeared on the conference room's large screen. Mark Davidson, Patricia Winters, you're under arrest for conspiracy to commit treason, violation of the Espionage Act, and conspiracy to defraud the United States. Armed FBI agents burst through the doors as chaos erupted around her. Laila watched from her seat as her former colleagues were led away in handcuffs. Winters struggled against her restraints. You think this ends it, Laila? She shouted. There are others. This doesn't stop anything. Maybe not, Laila replied calmly. But it stops you. Davidson also fought his handcuffs. You'll never work in this industry again, he screamed. I know, Laila said simply. And that's fine. I've got better things to do. Such as? Agent Collins asked. Teaching cybersecurity at ASU. There are more people who need to learn how to protect systems than people trying to exploit them, Laila replied. 6 months later, Laila stood in front of a classroom full of students at Arizona State University, teaching cybersecurity ethics. The most dangerous person in cybersecurity isn't the hacker trying to break in, she told her students. It's the person who was trusted to protect the system and chose to betray that trust. She clicked to the next slide, showing the Titan Industries case study. The most dangerous attack isn't from outside. It's from someone you trust. Someone with access. Someone who knows your systems better than anyone else. She paused, looking out at her audience of future cybersecurity professionals. That's why we teach not just how to build secure systems, but how to recognize when someone has been compromised. Or when someone is compromising. A student raised her hand. Professor Rivera, how do you know who to trust? Laila smiled. You don't. That's why you verify everything. Twice. The audience laughed, but Laila was serious. But more importantly, you build systems that don't rely on trust. You build redundancy, verification, oversight. You assume people will try to exploit the system, and you design accordingly. She clicked to her final slide. Remember, the best security system is one that works even when the people operating it are compromised. That evening, Laila sat in her comfortable apartment, video calling with her mother. Mija, I'm so proud of you, her mother said. Your grandfather would be proud too. Thanks, Mom. I just did what was right, Laila replied. And what will you do now? Keep teaching. Keep protecting people. Maybe write a book about cybersecurity ethics. She looked out her window at the Phoenix skyline. There will always be people trying to exploit systems. My job is to make sure there are more people trying to protect them. That's my daughter, her mother said warmly. After hanging up, Laila opened her laptop to work on lesson plans for her next class. On her desk sat a small plaque, Arizona State University, Professor of Cybersecurity Ethics. She had found her calling, not just protecting systems, but teaching others to protect them too. The algorithm of vengeance was complete. The system had been exposed, the criminals caught, and justice served. But more importantly, a new generation of cybersecurity professionals was being trained to prevent this from happening again. In the end, Laila realized, the greatest revenge wasn't destruction. It was building something better to replace what had been broken. As she graded papers late into the evening, Phoenix lights twinkling outside her window, Laila smiled. She had turned her pain into purpose, her betrayal into teaching, her revenge into education. The most powerful algorithm, she had learned, wasn't designed to destroy. It was designed to protect.